I think the apology was for him. It wasn't. So you're going to see it. I can't even think about that with my mind being blown. You're going to see it. It's going to shock you. The whole apology, all of the apologies, all of it. I watched a little bit for the tell-all, like these little clips, and I was like, you did what? You said what? What? It was all for him. It was his apology. He needed to hear it more than anybody. He had his agenda that he needed to do. When he fixes his relationship with his kids, that's when I'll accept the apology.
Besties, welcome back to my channel. Christine Brown is a bestseller on Amazon. She's got the #1 memoir, and she spoke to Access Hollywood yesterday in a in-depth interview about her book. I actually really enjoyed this interview. I loved the woman that gave the interview. She asked great questions, and I found Christine to be incredibly candid and straightforward. In the interview, it was very apparent to me just how naive Christine was during the process of her marriage with Kody, along with naive to manipulation, naive to what it was like to deal with someone like Kody, who is a narcissist, and about the finances. And during the interview, one aspect that was discussed was what was coming up this next season, which starts in a couple weeks. And the trailer is dealing with Kody possibly bringing in a new wife, and then Kody having this apology tour. Now, if you read Christine's book, you learn that a lot of what Kody and Robyn are doing on the show is reputation management, or it's trying to do damage to control to improve Kody's image. Kody is trying everything that he can to appear as though he's not the piece of turd that he is, and he's trying to give fake apologies. He's, trying to look like the great dad. And the reason why she feels he actually started demanding loyalty by everyone was due to the fact that people in the family started speaking about him in a negative way. Until Christine had left, really, most of the chatter on the show was, Kody's the best. We adore him. He's the king. He's our leader. We love him. There was never any unrest about Kody's a deadbeat dad. Kody's not involved with the kids. Kody's not, some of that was brought up in therapy, but they had like their main talking points to protect Kody. And the Cloak of Charity wasn't really about Kody being a patriarch, but Kody wanting to control his image. That's how she made it seem for the in there, and that he just started controlling everyone because he wanted to control how the world viewed him. He hated the feedback. Well, she discussed the apology that's coming up this season, and she discussed the possibility of Kody and Robyn taking a fifth wife, which she can't understand. But she did say that Kody and his apologies are not for the people that he's giving them to. It's all about him. She mentions that he has an agenda. And what is obvious to me with Christine is that on the one hand, she's still like learning about this outside world, still trying to figure out and unravel her cult upbringing and what she experienced. And then at the same time, she has to deal with Kody, who's a narcissist, and then she has to deal with the show and the lies that he tells on the show. And she's not sure if any of this is real. And then that had me thinking, when you're with a man like Kody and you're doing a show like this and you're faking it on camera, do you get confused about what's real and what's fake? She's mostly had negative things to say about Kody when it comes to the apology because she thought it was just words. Check this out.
Like, take care of your kids, reach out to your kids, call them, spend time with them, and work on that relationship. And then at that point, we can talk apology. That's an action that should happen, not just words. Words don't mean a thing. My kids are heartbroken. Even the ones that talk about how they've moved on, they've accepted that this is their dad and this is what does, and they've accepted it and they've moved on. So that I wish that could be fixed.
Kody's apologies are almost always empty, right? And it doesn't appear that anything really has changed. And in her book, she actually, in the epilogue, says that Kody and Robyn cut off Mykelti. Basically, just they severed ties with her So at this point, he has no relationship with any of her kids, really. I mean, McKelty was someone that Robyn had taken in, and McKelty helped with raising her kids. Christine also said that Robyn never used the sister wives for childcare, but instead would use her sisters or McKelty to help raise her kids or care for her kids. So I think there was something. Obviously, we know what happened is McKelty said something happened at the funeral. I don't know what it was, but I think that McKelty having a Patreon and even just saying anything is probably beyond what Kody would be comfortable with, because I'm sure in the mind of McKelty or of Kody, like anyone that says anything that's negative about him, even if it's the truth, is disparaging him and not helping him. And Kody doesn't like to hear the truth if it hurts his image. He's such a narc. But she does say in the epilogue that she's, heartbroken for her kids. And she says here that she's heartbroken for her kids. Yesterday, I did a video to discuss Christine's frustration with Kody and Robyn to tie into this concept of her. She's still not at a place where she can recognize that polygamy is truly the villain here, because without polygamy, this whole construct of this family wouldn't have existed, and the faith itself, which created the system. And some of you thought that I was trashing Christine or not being sensitive to her. I'm incredibly sensitive to her. I recognize that Christine is just coming out of a cult. She has left 4 years ago. I recognize that Christine has spent her entire life in a system that subjugates women and tells them that all they need to do is be happy, keep sweet, obey their priesthood authority, never question anything. Her book does go into a lot of her discussing unraveling some of these very toxic beliefs that she was taught, like endure to the end and having to suffer. And the more that you suffer, the more that God loves you. She's incredibly candid about how in their church, they're taught that the women are the ones that have to do all of the work to work through their jealousies and all of the issues that come with polygamy. And they're told that this will make them a better person. And so making themselves better people is trying to be not jealous, trying to be a better wife, trying to keep sweet. That's the whole goal. And she said she didn't want that. She wanted a partner. She wanted Kody to be held accountable. She wanted Kody to be as equally responsible for his behavior as her. She wanted a partnership. She wanted to be equal, truly. And she couldn't have that in polygamy. She writes all of that in her book, but she stopped short of saying that polygamy is the problem. And Christine, in her healing and her deconstruction, it'll take her a long time to get to that point, because she has loved ones that are still in this cult. And if she goes against the church, she can get cut off. But in my comments yesterday, some of you were saying that Christine simply speaking negatively about the church and she's going to protect polygamy because then she'll get cut off. That's not exactly true. She will get cut off for negatively speaking about the leaders. And she did. She speaks very negatively about the leaders in this book. And she speaks very negatively about what they're doing that she finds offensive and wrong. And the strict rules that that they enforced underneath their systems and her disagreements with that. That will get her not welcome at the church. If you start speaking about the priesthood and you start disparaging them and saying that you don't respect them, that's where you get cut off from the church. I think she's apprehensive to say that polygamy is the problem because she has sisters and siblings that are in polygamy. She has brothers. Her dad is still a part of the church, though he's not a polygamist. And I don't know how active he is in the church. But honestly, I don't think her dad would care either way, because he has plenty of children that are out of the church, that are outspoken about them not agreeing with it, that he still has relationships with. When Christine says that she has a good relationship with her father, I believe it, because I've spoken to multiple people that know her dad, and they've all said that he's a good guy. He's nothing like Kody. He's not narcissistic. He's not abusive. He is a decent guy that was just trying to do what he thought was right with his faith. And he got a lot of pressure from his dad, who was the leader, to come back to the faith. And not every single person that's in the polygamous system is a bad person, right? Not all men are bad just because they're born into this faith or they become polygamous husbands. They're following their indoctrination. It's the system where everything becomes abusive and the teachings of it that are abusive. And so when she can get to that point where she can recognize, you know what, polygamy as a whole is what's causing so many of these problems, that's going to be like another wake up call for her. Not just it's Kody's fault and I don't agree with my faith. It's the polygamy itself is. And it takes people a long time to get there. And